High Performance Endorsement certification with the Cessna C400 Corvalis TT. There's our flight path. There is a briefing that comes with this, which I recommend that you read, give you some pointers and advice on this aircraft. Just going to go back and hit ready to fly. A little message I've been getting, but the settings don't seem to, I've adjusted my settings and for the graphics, and I still get the message, and it doesn't seem to be affecting how the plane's flying. That started showing up when I did SimBrief 5 update. Okay, so Alt-Q will speed things up and remove the shocks, etc. Shift-C will get us inside the aircraft. Control-E will start things up.
Time to show what you can do with more powerful aircraft. You will be flying a Cessna 400 TT Corvalis today. With more than 200 horsepower, it has to be the most powerful single-engine piston-powered plane that you have ever flown. Try to be gentle on the controls and remain alert during takeoff and landing. Do not hesitate to apply some right rudder to counter the aircraft's left-turning tendencies.
Let's go Shift 1. I'm going to do the CDI setting to GPS. Also, I'm going to set the altitude to 1600. I'm going to bring up our multifunctional display screen, and there's our flight path there, and you can range in and out with this. But it gives you information as well on your fuel and oil pressure, etc. I'm going to be using the autopilot. There doesn't seem to be any restrictions on using some of these IFR instruments to help you. You can turn on that. I'm going to turn on nav, and I'm going to turn on vertical speed and set it up to climb for about 500 feet per minute. Okay, so we've got enough fuel. With that, I think we're good. I think I've got the nav on. Yep. Okay, so let's go shift space bar and let them know we're ready to taxi.
Ground, November 24491. Request taxi to the active. Close traffic.
November 24491. Taxi to and hold short of runway tree 4 via taxiway. Contact tower on 128.25 when ready.
Taxiing, hold short runway tree for using taxiway for 901.
Oh, we got a fuel truck coming out. Anyway, just ignore those things because there's nothing much you can do about it. They tend to want to get in your way. Now, I'm not sure what bugs this little aircraft has, but if anybody knows of some of them or has any comments, just make them in the space down below. I'll be happy to read any comments you make to improve flying this aircraft. Now, we're not being taken to the complete end of the runway, so I'm going to try and take off at this spot here. You got to pull up close enough to get that little bar to change color, and then we can press it. enter on your
Tower,
keyboard.
November 244901 ready at runway tree 4. Close traffic.
November 244901. Altimeter 29902, right, close traffic approved. Cleared for takeoff, runway tree 4.
Okay, because they took us to this point, I'm going to give it a try taking off here.
Cleared for takeoff, runway tree 4, 4901.
Okay, so we've now got enter runway 34. So you got to follow those mission steps in the top right corner there in that box in order to pass everything. So we are going to try and rotate at 75 knots and land at 75 knots. Okay, stop here. Go inside the aircraft, and I am going to back off a bit. Okay, so the engine propeller has to be, I believe, in full. If not, somebody let me know, but this could be one of the bugs. The fuel mixture is fine. Throttle, I'm going to give it full throttle, and I'm going to put down some flaps for takeoff. Okay, full throttle. You notice that the mixture, the prop changed right here. I'm going to push that in. Hopefully it stays in. And when I did that, of course, I had to take my hands off my joystick a bit. So I'm going to try and rotate at 75. Okay, so this thing pulls out sometimes. I'm not sure why. So that could be a little bug. But if that thing comes back, you won't be able to have enough power to take off. Now I'm going to put the autopilot on shortly. I'm going to climb to 850, bring up my flaps, so that was a little bit wayward takeoff because I was trying to play with that dial right there, the engine propeller. So I'm going to put the autopilot on now and see what happens. Remember, I set it to climb to 1600. I'm going to cut my throttle back a bit. Now you notice the autopilot adjusted the engine propeller, but it's following the flight plan, and it is climbing to 1600, which we're supposed to do. Once I get up there, I'm going to start cutting back the throttle. Because you don't want to be going too fast. We're not at a bad altitude right now. We're still climbing a little bit. They want us at 1600 to score your maximum points on the certification. Yeah, so it stopped at 1500. So I'm going to cut back our airspeed.
4901. Wind 255 at 4. Clear to land runway tree 4.
Yeah, you got to get your speed back, or you're going to be going too fast for landing. Got to
Clear to land
acknowledge
runway
that.
tree 4, 4901.
I'm going to let the autopilot turn it. See if I can get my airspeed down. So go outside. I'm going to take off the autopilot now. I'm going to put my flaps down. 1. So remember I said we're shooting for around 75 knots for landing. So I'm going to put the flaps down full for landing. So it says we're going too fast, but That, yeah, because I have the flaps down, it's changed color again. So now I have to give it a little bit of throttle. So the autopilot is off, and I'm shooting for around a landing at 75 knots if I can. Try and keep it within those boxes if you have them turned on. That'll help you with your glide slope. So my speed's pretty good. Don't let it get down too much. Put on your brake. It's pulling a little bit to
For
the left.
901, exit runway when able.
Bring up your flaps. So I got a little off the center line on the landing, so they sort of rate you on everything, even how close you land to the center line, how well you taxi, whether you follow airline procedures. They are pretty generous on whether you pass or fail.
4901, contact ground on 128.25.
Going to 128.25 for
We're on a
9.
little bit of a slope here, rolling backwards. Trying to get this hold short to turn off so I can go to parking. There we go.
Ground, November 244901. Request taxi to parking.
November 244901, taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway.
Okay, you gotta
Taxiing
follow
to
all those
general
steps like I
aviation
said.
Parking using taxiway for 901.
Like I was saying, they are fairly generous on pass and fail. I mean, they could make these very difficult. Like, they could have failed me on that if they wanted it on the takeoff. But they're not too hard on you as long as you're able to complete most of the steps and follow everything to completion. You'll generally get a pass. So we'll see how they scored me on this anyway. It'll give you an idea. Like, the aircraft definitely didn't suffer any damage, I don't believe. See if I can get around here into our parking spot without hitting that aircraft. Not that it'll affect the outcome at all. And here's a guy with a piece of equipment in the way. Try and avoid him, I guess. And pull into this spot and stop. Put on your parking brake. And to shut the aircraft down, you can use the shortcut Control-Shift-E on your keyboard. And that will then give you your results and whether you passed or not.
Solid performance. With a few simple tweaks, that would have been a perfect flight.
Okay, I'm assuming I passed. Yeah, high endorsement performance passed. And there's how I scored. Traffic pattern altitude. That's because, I mean, if you didn't have the autopilot on and just flew it VFR manually, you might have scored higher there. But I just wanted to try the autopilot. 100% on that. And respect taxi path. Yeah, I wobbled a bit. Plane handling, they gave me 100%. I guess they didn't mind the takeoff too much, or I went a little haywire. And everything went perfectly well during the flight, 100%. So, thank you very much, flight simmers. If you are planning on doing the high performance endorsement and looked at this first, appreciate it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe. So, thank you very much.